Hey Posse, today we're talking about how one guy from Texas almost single-handedly prevented the wine industry in France, Europe, and possibly much of the entire planet from most certain death. It's a fascinating story and it reminds me of a great life parallel. Hey there, my name is Pierre and welcome to Asti Wine Consultants. This is my life series where we explore powerful stories from vineyards and the wine industry and see practical applications for our day-to-day lives. Now, several years ago, I went on a road trip to a bunch of wineries and vineyards in the southeast U.S., plus several in Indiana, Texas, and Missouri. Having done some research about which vineyards were growing which kind of grapes, I came across one small vineyard in Alabama, the Jules J. Berta Vineyard and Winery. Now, when most people visit wineries, they go to taste wine. I'm a little bit different, to say the least. I'm as interested in the vines, rootstock, and soil as I am in the wine. The incredible thing about Jules's vineyard is he had bought some Blaufränkisch rootstock from his home country, Austria, to his vineyard in Alabama. Now, Blaufränkisch is the #1 grape and wine in Austria and is known to make some of the best wines in the entire world. It is not native to the U.S. and is not the typical sweet wine made in so many of the wineries throughout the Southeast. Now, when I saw that they were growing Blaufränkisch, I absolutely had to go pay Jules a visit. When I got there, something else about what Jules is doing in his vineyard is he is the first vineyard in the world under the supervision of the University of California, Davis, to experiment with red Chardonnay vines and rootstock. You know, Blaufränkisch and red Chardonnay rootstock in Albertville, Alabama, of all places. You see, I told you, I'm a little bit different. Well, anyhow, towards the end of my road trip, I heard about this guy, TV Munson from Texas, that saved the French and potentially the entire global wine industry from total devastation in the 1870s and 1880s. I found my way to Munson's home, which had been preserved as a historic site in Denison, Texas. Now, TV was a horticulturalist specializing in grapes, grapevines, and pest-resistant grapevine rootstock. Actually, let me back up just a second. In the 1840s, European vineyards had been ravaged by a fungus parasite called odium. France nearly lost 80% of its vines. To combat the odium, the French wine industry imported U.S. Labrusca rootstock, but they brought, those rootstock brought a different problem, a problem called phylloxera. Now, that's a plant louse which ravaged the recovering vineyards. Now, by 1868, phylloxera had devastated more than 6 million acres of vineyards in France, Germany, and much of Europe. The wine industry in Europe was non-existent. TV noticed that Labrusca, the U.S. rootstock, and vinifera, the European rootstock, were subject to various diseases, but the U.S. vines were not attacked by the phylloxera. So, what he did was load 15 wagons with U.S. rootstock and took them to France. They grafted any French vines they could save to the Texas rootstock. The rest is history. In the U.S., TV accomplishments are very much under the radar, but in Europe, especially in France, it's a completely different story. The French government named him to the French Legion of Honor, only the second non-French to have received that honor. Throughout France, including Bordeaux, statues and monuments have been erected in his honor. And Cognac, France, became the official sister city to Munson's hometown, Denison, Texas. Without TV Munson, you'd probably be drinking beer right now. Maybe you are, I don't know. So what does this have to do with anything? Very simply speaking, with the wrong rootstock, grapevines will die from the disease, pests, and contamination from the earth. Grafting vines to the right rootstock can protect the vine from the most dangerous infestations. You know, in the good book, at one point, Jesus says, "I am the true vine, you are the branches. Whoever is grafted in me and I in him bears much fruit. Without me, you can do nothing. If anyone is not grafted in me as a branch, they wither." You know, we face a lot of pressures living life in this world. At virtually every turn in the road, we encounter speed bumps, roadblocks, challenges, and hurdles. If you're anything like me, we are prone to encounter and even harbor within ourselves disappointment, doubt, selfishness, bigger than life egos, rudeness, betrayal, disillusionment, and destruction in our most sacred relationships, even sorrow, fear, and anger. We experience this particularly when living life rooted in our society's standards. You know, standards like getting ahead at all costs, acquiring and accumulating more stuff, enhancing our public image, making sure we act and speak properly, fine-tuning our professional skills and techniques, plus living like everything and everyone is disposable and unworthy. We even strive to have an unequal or louder voice that matters more than others in many of our relationships. This dangerous infestation is detrimental to our individual and collective physical, emotional, and spiritual health, in addition to our most meaningful relationships as we do life on our own terms. The great thing is we have an option. Practically speaking, we can be grafted into a rootstock that includes integrity, humility, kindness, fidelity, temperance, patience, honor, consensus building, simplicity, creativity, modesty, and the golden rule. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. If you want to learn more about this solid foundation, send me an email or message me on social media. I'd be honored to share more with you. Well, there you have it, a little life lesson from the vines about the importance of rootstock. I hope you found it helpful. Hey Posse, thanks so much for investing the time to watch this video. I trust it was helpful to you. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And please consider hitting subscribe. Now, if you're interested in buying some wines, check out this link. We've got some wonderful discounts. And be sure to check out these other videos. Until next time, cheers.